Once upon a time, there was a young man named Jack who lived in a small village at the foot of a mountain range. Jack was a hardworking and determined young man, always striving to achieve his goals and make a better life for himself and his family. Despite the many challenges that he faced in life, Jack had a positive attitude and a strong sense of purpose. One day, Jack decided that he wanted to climb to the top of the highest mountain in the range. He had heard stories of the incredible views from the summit and the sense of accomplishment that came with reaching such a lofty goal. Jack began preparing for the climb, studying maps, gathering equipment, and training his body for the rigorous journey ahead. As Jack began his ascent up the mountain, he encountered many obstacles along the way. The weather was unpredictable, and he had to contend with rain, wind, and snow. The terrain was treacherous, with steep inclines and rocky outcroppings that threatened to send him tumbling down the mountain. Despite these challenges, Jack remained focused on what he could control. He set small goals for himself, such as reaching the next ridge or resting for a few minutes to catch his breath. He kept a positive attitude and focused on the steps he needed to take to reach his ultimate goal. As Jack climbed higher and higher, he encountered other climbers who were also on their own journeys up the mountain. Some of these climbers were struggling with the same challenges that Jack was facing, while others seemed to be effortlessly gliding up the mountain without a care in the world. Jack realized that he could not control the actions of these other climbers, but he could control his own attitude and approach to the climb. As Jack continued his climb, he began to encounter new challenges that he had not anticipated. His water supply ran low, and he had to ration his remaining water carefully. He encountered steep cliffs and rocky chasms that required him to carefully navigate his way around them. He encountered wildlife that was both beautiful and dangerous, including bears and mountain lions. Through it all, Jack remained focused on what he could control and let go of what he could not. At long last, Jack reached the summit of the mountain. He was exhausted and exhilarated all at once, with a sense of accomplishment that he had never felt before. The view from the summit was breathtaking, with a vast panorama of snow-capped peaks stretching out as far as the eye could see. Jack felt a deep sense of gratitude for the experience, and for the lessons that he had learned along the way. As Jack descended the mountain, he reflected on the journey that he had just completed. He realized that the lessons that he had learned on the mountain applied not just to climbing, but to life in general. He had learned the importance of focusing on what he could control, and letting go of what he could not. He had learned to set small goals for himself, to keep a positive attitude, and to be prepared for the unexpected. Years later, Jack returned to the mountain range with his own son. Together, they climbed the mountain, facing many of the same challenges that Jack had faced years before. As they reached the summit, Jack looked out over the vast landscape and felt a deep sense of pride and gratitude. He knew that his son had learned the same lessons that he had learned on the mountain, and that those lessons would stay with him for the rest of his life. The lesson of the story is that we all face challenges in life, but we can choose how we respond to them. By focusing on what we can control, setting small goals, and keeping a positive attitude, we can overcome even the greatest obstacles. And by letting go of what we cannot control, we can find peace and clarity in the